are talking how to dress up for your executive presence to create that image of power in your career. And we have our very special guest, Janine Starkey. Now, Janine, I want to know, how did you get into this world of image consultancy? What's your story?
It's a long story, but I'll give you the
short
abridged version. Yeah, definitely. I am a fashion designer by trade, so that's what I qualified as. And my first job ever was to be the stylist of Igorli on Mnet, France Marx Films. And when Igorli was hot and the happening, and it was the only soap on television, on South African television, I became the head of the wardrobe department. After 5 years of working there, I became the HOD. And it was a moment that changed my life forever. An actress had come down, and for a fitting, we had these big, huge fitting rooms with massive wardrobes, and I'd gone shopping for her. And she was beautifully built, and she was blonde and gorgeous, and she had everything going for her young. And she put on the pair of jeans, and she looked at me flat in the face, and she said to me, "Janine, can't you find me jeans that lift up my bum and suck in my thighs and tuck in my stomach?" And honestly, I would have carved her heart out with a spoon if I had the option, because I couldn't believe it, that this woman in front of me was sheer perfection. And I think in that moment, for me, I realized that it doesn't matter who we are, where we come from, what color our skin is, what we do for a living, how much money we got in the bank. At the end of the day, it's we women. We are people. We see flaw before we see asset. We see negative before we see positive. And that's natural. And in that moment, what I would do for her is I found the right pair of jeans. And it changed not only how she performed when she was on camera, because she's an actress, right? Yeah. So it not only changed that, but also changed how she saw herself. When she looked in the mirror, she smiled at her reflection. And you can't buy that, and you can't put money on that. And I think that pretty much that moment, that pinnacle moment, changed how I saw people. So I looked at her, and she was perfection. And yet all she saw was the negatives. And that blew my mind. So how did I get into it? Yeah, that was pretty much the beginning. Wow. And then when I left Igorli and I started my company, I started the business, it was a woman who phoned me. She phoned me out of desperation. She was going through divorce. Her husband had cheated on her. Her self-esteem her self-confidence was an all-time low. Yeah. She had two beautiful daughters, and her teenage daughters were looking with big wide eyes, and she had to go back into the workplace for the first time in 20 years of marriage. She hadn't had to do that. Now she had to go get a job. She said to me, "Janine, I've got 3,000 Rand, please go buy me a work wardrobe." This was 25 years ago. I just want to say that. This was 25 years ago.
Please can I give you 3,000 Rand? Give me a makeover.
It don't really work like that anymore. But it was real back then. Yeah. And, I spoke to her recently, not a year ago, and she said to me on the phone, she said to me, "Janine, even though it's been 25 years later, that moment changed my life." And I was like, sure, that's why I do what I do. Because the impact of letting somebody see you through their eyes versus you seeing you through your own eyes, there's power in that. Yeah. It's an image consultant's responsibility to not only put pretty clothes on you, but also teach you on how to make the most out of your body, how to make the most out of your style, and how to see yourself through our eyes. That's our responsibility. So I wrote Recreating You that year, and that became the manual for all my clients to ever get. And no, I don't give it out anymore because it's really not necessary. We go through so much more. But there's so much power in that. And it became my journey.
Well, the characters of Igorli, what I can remember, always looked so powerful.
Yeah. When building a character is the same as like building an image, isn't it? So you take into account when building a character, there's a storyline, there's an overview, who this person is, where they come from, where they're going, how old they are, what size they are. I mean, all of that rolled into one is how I was able to build that character. And look, there were many heads of wardrobe in my time, so please, it wasn't just me. But the most value I got out of it was understanding how to build that image, Because if we did our job well, you, the viewer at home, would see that character for the first time and would know exactly where she came from and where she was going without her opening her mouth. Yeah. The power of image.
The absolute power of image. And I obviously, that excites me what you just said, because I'm in the world of acting and that's my background. That's right. And you always create the character like that. And we are all characters. And we are dressing for that character.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, look, that does sound, I'm not going to lie, it does sound a little bit flay, but the truth is perception is kind of everything. And as much as I wish it wasn't, that's the reality.
And I like what you said. So it's not about faking it till you make it. We don't want to just stick stuff on. But there is power. I mean, look at these images behind us. It's so hot. All these different looks that we're seeing here, and it brings out a different element in each woman.
Well, this is actually a star board that is created for a particular client of mine. And you know, it's every look, every color, every button, every accessory, it adds value. It's there for a reason. And it's those reasons that when you shape it, when you formulate it together to create a head to toe look, can change everything for her.
So what is your head-to-toe look, or what is your signature style?
I don't think I have one. No, that's such a lie.
You've got to have one.
I have. Absolutely. My signature style is definitely definitely more classic. I navigate towards the neutrals, much like many women. I dress for my body shape, for sure. Knowing which part of my body to asset. You see, we enhance this area, so we hide this area. That's part and parcel of the style, for sure. And I think it's a little bit edgy. I like to push the boundaries every now and again with my style, specifically with my shoe choice. I have fabulous shoes. No, fabulous shoes.
Oh, we have to show everyone a bit later.
No, I can't lift my foot up there. It ain't coming back down. So no.
Her shoes are fabulous.
No, they're fabulous.
By the way, they're very fabulous.
No, absolutely.
And she owns it. And I think and what you were saying about the color and sometimes committing to a look.
Yeah.
And when you look hot, you've got a hot look, you need to commit to that confidence. When you wear that look, sometimes you can see people are watching you and you're drawing attention. And then you've got to commit to that confidence. So there's definitely that inner narrative and the outer narrative that needs to speak to one another.
Tweak and Style, we talk about look good, feel good, perform. And that's the equation. Yeah. It's not feel good, look good, perform, and it's not perform to feel good to look good. It's definitely look good, feel good, perform. Because you can't tell me when you've gone out and you've bought a fantastic pair of jeans and you know that those jeans lift, shape, tuck, hug, elongate, everything they're supposed to, that you don't walk into a room with a different kind of swagger. You just do. The challenge is that you've got to feel like that every day of your life.
So look good, feel good, and perform.
Woohoo!
We'll see you after the break.